Greetings, blessings to all the people uh, in this live. If you do come live, pretty good. So today I'm gonna be talking a little bit brief. I'm still getting used to this whole YouTube thing, video and stuff. So my topic today is called the alien agenda to influence the eight brain century of your consciousness. And what it's basically talking about is how the aliens' agenda is to influence our eight conscious levels of ourselves. We actually have eight levels of consciousness. And the eight levels of consciousness is, I actually have them broken down so we could look at them or we could talk about them, but also to get a better understanding of this alien agenda is I have a few things written down. Still a little bit getting used to this video content stuff. So I'm actually reading from the board. So if you see my eyes directed this way, I'm reading from the board. I'm reading from the board down here as well. And I can show you the board as well. So on this board here, right here, okay, uh, on this board here, as you can see, you have the eye there. Of course, there's some light here that I have to work on as well, because as you can see, that light is really above there. Okay, so on this board here, which talk about your left brain, right brain, the four lobes on both sides, the 44, that's the 44 numbers, which equals to 8. 4 plus 4 equals 8. So this brain circuitry system and the alien waste, what they're really trying to do is break through your consciousness so they could get to your soul, get to your spirit. They do realize that you're not from this planet. A lot of people think they're from Earth and that's it, but we're not. And what we have here is a covenant. We have a covenant with the Earth. We are actually cosmetic children. We are actually star seeds. We come from the universe, just like the universal one. Some people call it different names. Some people call it Nami Yi Ohimi. Some people call it God. Some people call it Supreme. Some people call it the One. Some people call it Universal. It has this entity has so many different names. It's okay though. Don't get caught up in the names because names don't mean nothing. It's the experience. The words do affect us, but don't get too affected by the words because you still energy. So, what is a blank brain circuit? There are eight circuits that we know. So, when we look at the brain, the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, the four lobes, so we'll see that there's a potential of consciousness circuits and different aspects of consciousness of the dimensional paradigm of spatial perception within our minds. Remote viewing or out of body experience already suggested in this world of neuroscience. So, like when you look at neuroscience here, this is already known that there is a world beyond the world. There are consciousness of levels. They actually know this. This is why they call it hemi. Hemi means like blood, right? Blood spheres, right? Just think about that. Blood spheres, hemispheres. This is why they wanted to go into here, which is known as the sphere of destiny. Here is the Carlstrom. This is where they believe that where your consciousness comes from. And if you see in between here, this is where your eye's supposed to be. This is the back of your brain, the back of your hemisphere. This is normally where they try to attack you, but they actually go through your eyes. Why? Because they say the eyes is the window to the soul. You can see why, because it lies in the middle pillar. This is the right pillar. This is the left pillar. This is Boaz. This is Jacob. This is the black matter. This is the AKA white matter, known as the gray matter. And this is the mildness. This is in between. This is the Sarat Mustaqim that you hear about in Arabic. This is the narrow path that you hear about in Christianity. So this is where you walk through. Your third eye right here. And your colostrum is right there. Okay, so once you beam outwards, you are looking into the different aspects of the atmospheres. And what you're doing is that you're condensing atmospheres into AKA a form of reality. How do you do it? You just have to ask yourself that. It's like no one can really tell you how you do things. You just know. You're just in the know. But what they can do is they can confuse you about being in the know. So let's go back here, right? So let's go back here. Okay. I'm gonna have to, really get into this camera. I'm just still learning and I don't care. I'm gonna make mistakes. So many people make mistakes, right? When they first start off, it could be nervous, you could be such and such. So let's say, for instance, to better understand these levels, these dimensions of consciousness, let's take two people that everybody know of. One of them will be Albert Einstein, and another one will be, let's say, Nikola Tesla. Okay. On a normal person, there are certain levels that some people will just stay in, or they get stuck in, or they're afraid, they have fears. So, what negative emotions do to you is that they try to hold you down with the gravitational force. And what that does, because that tries to, if you don't know how to use gravity in the form of what is called grounded, like a lot of people talk about grounded, like they're grounded, like I'm grounded, right? And it's like a tree. So people are looking at it like I'm grounded into the earth, right? But when you ground it into the earth, what are you doing as an energy being? Just think about it. Don't look at this world physically. Look at it consciously. Look at it as energetic thoughts. Like you're here, but not here. Have you ever been in a place where you just numb out everything? Like everything, you don't want to hear the noise. You create your own noise reduction. You don't hear nothing. Actually, you don't even see nothing. You go into a state of daydreaming, right? Or and you're awake, like you can see people walking by, but you are so at peace, you're so relaxed, you go into this state of calmness, right? And you actually are not there for the moment. So you're going into a deep state of consciousness. Now y'all hear that word deep state in Kabbalah, right? The Kaaba, right? Y'all hear that a lot in the media, and there's a reason why that is happening, because what y'all about to get a little taste of, I'm not going to go into it too much right now. I'm just going to give it a little taste because I'm still new to this. So the little taste is what's the alien agenda. Some of us call them jinns, some of us call them demons, some of us call them entities, some of us call them archons, demiurges, and et cetera, right? But for the most part, we have specific names for these types of beings that came in this earth. They are reptilians, Anunnakis, Palladiums, Zela Greys, Instalon, insectors, um, Gaussian grades. They are sounds like CIA, but with the CAS in it. So CCAS, um, octocurrents, and and that's about it. That's about the eight major ones that I know of. And of course, out of the eight, there's branches of different little subgroups of those beings, which nobody really talk about. Um, but the one I don't see here, maybe they just worded different, or the sectarians, the serpentine people. I don't see that there. I didn't put it there. And that will be number nine. And the reason why I didn't put them there because of that's a little bit more. That's a little bit more. You would know a little bit more. Right now, everybody's pulling the coattails of the Anunnakis. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give y'all a brief of this because this is actually going into the Gaia, which is the unseen world, which many of us cannot see. Okay, we cannot see with these physical eyes. So it's going into the Gaia world, meaning the unseen world. Nikola Tesla did it. Albert Einstein did it. Any person who is of innovator or spiritual seers or shams or people like that, those are the people that go into the different consciousness states. And just look at consciousness as sparrows of space and time. Okay. And you can project yourself outwards or inwards, which most likely you do project yourself inwards because everybody thinks it's outwards. When you look at it outwards, that's the macro. That is the illusion of world. The real world is actually within you. And not too many people could go through that particular gates because each of these eight brain centrals or different gates would give you a different consciousness, will give you a different understanding, will give you a different wisdom, will give you different knowledge. It give you a different little bit of everything. And sometimes if you're not ready and you go through these conscious states of being, sometimes it can make you go insane. Literally. It could drive you crazy. I don't know if y'all ever heard of people who do go into these different fields, like Oster Crowley, who was once a member of the Golden Dawn, but he, um, how can I say it? He broke certain codes and he had to be let go. There's other people like Kenneth Grant, and different people uh, that have gone through these so-called conscious states. Believe it or not, Adolf Hitler, believe it or not, Fidel Castro um, have gone through these states. Believe it or not, people that don't like this person at this moment because of all the stuff going on, Bill Gates has gone through these consciousness. Now, some of them are helped. And what do I mean by that? It's like you go into a palm store, somebody who reads your palm, or you go into a person who reads tarot cards, right? The 78 of them. And when you look at that number 78, you always have to ask yourself the question, why 7 and 8? Now, if you think about it, I'm talking about alien agenda that influence your eight brain circuitry, right, of your consciousness. So think about that. You have 7 and you have 8, right? Just think about these numbers. Hold these numbers in your head, okay? And realize what does 7 means to you and what does 8 means to you and why do they call it Taru, okay? So just think about that. And just do your own little research. I'm not the person, I'm not going to give you everything because then that totally be unfair. You kind of like cheat, and you can't cheat in this world, not in this spiritual world. Maybe you think you could cheat in the physical world, but that's an illusion itself. So the only person that you're cheating on is yourself. You're the reflection and you're the projection of everything that you see. Everything. When you think about it, there's a guy, his name is he's a Japanese scientist. He talks about water and our consciousness, how we could change water molecules. So think about that, right? There's another person named Banner who talked about how we can change the consciousness of a plant. We could actually change the consciousness of this earth if we wanted to. You see how the earth is right now? It's chaotic, right? But in this chaos is order, obviously, because the people who are casting these sleep spells or these hypnosis spells, these enslavement spells, are ones who went through the different dynamics of the conscious realm with the help of these alien beings who actually have a higher agenda. We are made of energy, right? I want you to think about that. We are made of energy. So if you look at the world today and you go to a grocery store, you see a lot of things have to do with energy. You see a lot of energy drinks and etc. Right? Because what are these aliens doing? They prepping you, basically. You're being prepped for something. And I want you to think about this. If we know we are destroying, well, we're trying to destroy the earth, but we're not. We're trying to change the earth frequency because the earth itself have a frequency just like a mother's heart to a baby. It's a certain frequency that we have. Some people call it different names, uh, but they are altering this frequency and have to do with alkaline to acidic. And then when you look at like a pH level, those are frequencies, those are numbers, like in your urine, uric acid. You understand? So all of that is elements and chemistries. Those things are moving, they are moving, they have motion. So everything has a number, everything has a frequency, everything has a vibration, and everything has an energy. This is the biggest thing that Nikola Tesla talk about. He does talk about the power of 3, 6, and 9. Okay, so you remember that everything that has a 3, a 6, and a 9 is very vital to the existence that you see today. Okay, everything. So if you add up the numbers, you will see if you go 3 and 9, what that equals 12. You talk about the 12 zodiac signs, or you talk about the 12 months. But then you go back to the 12 and you look at it, and its precision mathematics is 3. So everything has a number that works on circuits in your brain. And even the Hebrew language, even our language in English, works on brain patterns. Okay. So these aliens, these demons, these jinns, whatever name you want to give them, and I can tell you this, I can promise you this, you don't have to call them by their names. You have the ability to call them any name you want. So you don't have to follow the crowd. Because if you follow the crowd with these names, you have to be very careful because these names are frequency vibrational traps. It's like if you ever played chess before, you know the ability of creating traps in your opponent. And that chessboard is 64 squares. So think about that too. So that 64 squares is 10, and 10 is the tree of life. So be very careful of continuing using the names that they promote there, because when they promote these names and you say it to yourself, you create a neural connection with them, and you're not going to dodge them. You're not going to dodge them because that's the power of words. Words are what? Spells. Spells are what? If you study witchcraft, what is a spell? You think when they say, I'm gonna teach you how to spell letters. And what is letters? Letters of numbers, numbers of vibrations, numbers of frequency. So all of this goes back to spirituality. Your whole life is spiritual. So therefore, these aliens that I call these reptilians, these Anunnakis, these Palladians, these Zetas, these Insuloids, these Galaxias, these planets, whatever name they want to give them, right? Because you have to ask yourself this one question: where did they get the names from? Okay, you have to realize that either you're giving something power, right, or you creating the power. That's either or you're surrendering to a power. So you have those three things. You could give power, right? You could surrender to power, or you could get power. So you have those three aspects, in life. So you can do one or the other. It's just like looking at the brain. You could say the brain has two hemispheres and four lobes on both sides, which equals eight, right? But then you look at it and say, okay, it's got eight lobes, right? And two hemisphere, and you do eight plus two equals 10. You got the tree of life with no knowledge in it. See, that's why they say, thou shalt not cast pearls among swine, because they don't want you to have knowledge. They don't want you to know, but they'll teach you, though. They'll teach you legends and they'll teach you intelligence, but they won't teach you wisdom and understanding so you can get out of this matrix because they need your soul. They are using your energy life force as I speak every day. These are aliens. They are more higher advanced than what we think because we are looking at the world through a low vibration. And if you look at the world through a low vibration, and you're a higher spiritual being, it doesn't work out quite well. So they have two ways of doing things to us. One way they do is what is called terrestrial projection. Terrestrial projection has to do with anything that is of survivability, right? That's the one word. And then you have extraterrestrial projection, which is about future, future evolution. So you have these two things. You have one of survivability, and then you have one of future evolution. So if you realize one is actually, it could be like the time, how they say the past, present, and future. So where are you at in this moment consciously? Most of y'all are in the past. And when you in the past, you're a reincarnation of something. If you in the present, you're not even here yet. So where you have to be in the now. Nothing matters but right now. And that's how they get us because they keep us in what is called terrestrial projection or astral projection, meaning the past or the future. But they never put us in the now because the now is all that matters, not what's ahead for tomorrow and definitely not what's behind you. There's nothing you could do about the past but a memory. That's it, a memes. So there's nothing you could do in the future because the future is actually unknown to you. And I know that we have the ability to remote view. We have the ability to astral project. We have the ability to out body experience and the near death experience as well. So we have like four ways. Near death experience you kind of don't want, right? But it happens. And all of them is different. All of them is different. Some people might even add in when you sleepwalk, you know? So all of them difference. OBE is actually a IBE. It's an inner body experience, not an outer body experience, because you are the micro of the macro. You don't actually go outside yourself. You think you do. That's a projection. You actually going in the universe. The universe is in you. When you look at the universe, you look at you. So why are you going outwards when everything is inwards? See, that's how they tricked us, because you're looking for a master, or you're looking for a savior outside of yourself. You're looking for knowledge and things like that outside yourself. You're looking for love outside yourself. Everything you need is inside yourself. And then what do you do? From the inside, you project it outwards. It's like a seed in the earth. What does it do? It don't project itself outwards first. It projects itself inwards. And in darkness, it grows and develops. So in a form, darkness is not bad. We just use it as a term because why? We've been told that by the aliens or the demons or whatever you want to call them. They have made this contending forces when you study the Kalipov of duality. They have made the light versus the dark, all these things, man versus female. Now, I want you to understand something about this divisions that they always do two divisions, like they have two hemispheres and four lobes. When you look at any religion out there, they have that same mathematical breakdown. It was one religion or one spiritual school of thought, because that's what I call them. They actually schools of thoughts. The original ones are schools of thoughts. Anything after the one is the illusion and a reflection of the one. So even two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine is the illusion, is or is the reflection of the emanation of the one. So you might get caught up in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and don't realize that you one with the one. You see, because you're looking outside. Once again, you're looking outside yourself. This is the problem. Everybody's looking for answers outside of themselves. You just need to take a moment and look inwards. Be quiet. Listen to your intuition, not your external, not your intelligence, your intuition, your inner self. Because when you're listening to things outside you, like in Islam, they talk about how shaitan whispers in you. So this shaitan is Iblis. This Iblis is actually a serpent. The serpentines are actually above the reptilians. So could the Anunnakis be the serpentines? Hey, some of y'all better than me to answer that question. You know, I'm not going to tell you who they are. People just call them Anunnakis. But here's another thing that's missing: the nomads, the people from Syria. I don't see them there. Why I don't see them there? We just finished the Lion Gate and they're not here. Why they don't talk about them? This star system from the Dogon tribe is known as the spiritual sun. You see the physical sun? Well, that star system actually is more brighter than the sun. Physically brighter than the sun, hotter than the sun. So when the line gates open up, we get divine spiritualness plug in energy. This is what the aliens don't want us to know. Because every time we get it, it's like a big boost. Like they teach us how to eat, they taught us how to have sex, they taught us all of this because they trying to create a imprisonment on this earth. So it's like when you leave your body, right? Your spirit goes out. That's why they spraying the chemtrails. The chemtrails have to do with alien technology. That's what our government says. Like in the so-called scriptures that you read in Ephesians, it goes into we do not fight against flesh and blood, but we fight against rulers who practice what? And they follow what? Demons, which are these different forms of aliens, reptilians, Anunnakis, Palladians, Zetas, Greys, Insectors, Greys, this and that, chakras, whatever name you want to call it, right? Like no one really knows the name. We just give names. It's like, you could go one part of the earth, a name is different for a tree. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. So don't get caught up in the names of things so much so because you are actually greater than those names because you still have to perform the experience. So you can say nothing because names and things like that are verbal forms of communication, which is the weakest forms of communication. That's why we don't see what is going on. That's why we are lost because we are actually being taught to be verbalized in communication, to follow the five senses or to follow seven chakras when there's 114 chakras. But they would never tell you that because we are under alien agendas, whether you call them demons or whatever name you want to give them. So we're caught up in this theatrical drama game that they're playing. Like they're trying to confuse us because they know who we are more than we know who we are. We are seeking ourselves. Like we've been shattered. So scientists right now are trying to go back to the baby stage, what they call fractal in time. So what they're trying to do is crack the code of when a soul actually comes into this existence. These are aliens, but they look human. They're shapeshifters. You ever seen a chameleon? You're like, oh, I saw a lizard, and then all of a sudden that lizard disappeared. Optical illusion. It already reflected light and it's actually there, but you can't see it. Why? Because your brain circuits is not on the higher levels. So let's get into the different forms of brain circuits and the spatial perception. Now, let me inform you about spatial perception. Okay, spatial perception is basically you are a circle, but you don't know it. You are a world of energy. You are like this. Everything runs in circuitry. Okay, so it's circulations. Everything goes around in circle. Just remember that. When you look at a baby when it's first born and it's coming out of the holies of the holies of whole, okay, right? When you holding it, it's coming through that special gateway, that special portal, and you're gonna see that in my next video that talk about uh the Gudi Malalama Palama of Hindu. You're going to see this place where you're going to see the holies of holies. So it comes out of this, right? So you notice you see them do this, right? But this is really what they're trying to do, which this is the Vasilar Peninsula, but you don't know it. It's actually the portal hole of the vagina walls, basically shaped like that, right? So that's a portal hole, and they know it. They know it. So what do? They do different science so they won't let you know. They actually examining you right off the bat. Because why? They trying to influence anything that's coming through that portal hole so the so-called golden child won't come through. The AKA Messiahs, which are you? You are the Christ conscious. You are the Christ conscious, the Buddha conscious, whatever name they gave in some of us today, because we feel we have this great awakening. And they are, you have to be careful of awakening because they also playing the same game. Like when you do something, they're doing the same thing, but they doing it like the shadow, like the movie Us. You remember the movie, like the person who produced it, the movie uh, Get Out. He produced it another movie similar to that called Us. Now you remember in the movie Get Out when Chris Look at his name, Chris. Why is he called Chris? See, Christ conscious. If you take Chris and you throw a T there, what you got? You got Christ. See, but what most people don't understand, and then at the end, you have a guy whose name is what? What is he associated with? Right? So they throw you these what they call them a certain form of psychology that creates what is called split mind. So when you get a split mind, you have two hemispheres. There's no two, it's only one. But see, they don't want you to know that you is one. They always going to try to split you up into multiple personalities. Okay? That's what they want to do. When they look at you, they know you're one body, one mind, one soul, one everything. You are the one. But what they do to you, projection and all these different forms of psychology. And psychology, by the way, is not the study of the mind, it is the study of the soul. It is going back to the Greeks, and the Greeks learned from who? The Kemetic people. So you're talking about the study of the soul. Everything is about the soul. You got to remember, these people could not measure the soul. Wilhelm, okay? The first German scientist, he could not measure the soul. So this type of psychology they have here is trying to crack your bodies, your different bodies, to get into where your soul is at. See, they search the brain, they done cut cars, did it live, did it dead, it didn't matter to them. They was trying to find out where is your soul so they can try to take it, but they can't. The only thing that can take your soul is you giving your soul to somebody. Imagine how you give your soul to somebody. Well, these are aliens, so they understand you are not who you are. You are energy. You think if I touch myself, you think I'm touching myself? You think I'm having an experience of touching myself? I am not. I am not actually touching myself. That's you. Atoms can't touch atoms, and you're composed of atoms. If you ever had a class in AP, what's the first thing they teach you? What do you come from? Atoms. The atoms to molecules. So how can atoms touch atoms? Think about it. So that means they already influencing you to think the way they want you to think about reality. You understand? It's like money. Why is everybody working? You ever asked that question? Have you ever asked, oh, gee whiz, when I'm in the wilderness, there's just fruit there. Do it have a price tag on it? How about water? When you jump in the water and you see what lakes and stuff like that, do it have a price tag on it? Fishes, animals, anything that you eat, does it have price tags on it? No. So who created that consciousness? You ever thought of that? You see what's happening right now. There's a virus, right? You think it's a virus, right? You think because they told you it's a virus, and they condition you as a kid from 1 to 7. Think of the number 1 to 7. If especially if you're a Christian, you already know the first day what happened with creation. Then at the seventh day, what happened creation? You should know if you study Hindu, the first chakra, what's going on? The seventh chakra, what's going on? You could study Arusha, the first Arusha entity, deity, or whatever you want to call it, versus the seventh one. What happened? Then you got Obatala, which is the eighth one, right? But what is going on? Who's doing that? Who is operating your consciousness? Who is actually in your mind with you at the same time besides yourself? You know how sometimes you have multiple personalities? Why? Because of alien technology. You don't believe them. Because why? They put you on a five sense grid. So if you have ESP, right? That means you have more. You have more sensors or senses than you thought because they dummy you down. And now that you have machines, they're telling you that something that you create, maybe you didn't create it because they dummy you down on that aspect. And these machines are telling you everything. So they call that artificial. Listen to their words very carefully. You create the inanimated object, right? The aliens got you say this is a this machine is smarter than you. You the creator of the machine. You know some human created the machine, quote unquote. You think they're human. Now there's a lot of people dying and stuff like that. And I could go into the Golan's, the theory of zombies or the theories of the gulams and things like that. But that's another story because that goes into another brain circuitry. All right. So you have to realize when your neurons snap, they create what is called the fire language called the Abud, which is actually the Hebrew language, which actually goes into your different forms of brain waves. Like, for instance, you take a Buddha, right? And you see these nods right here. All of these are actually parts that's in your brain, just like this lesions. And they press different parts or say different letters. These are what they call fire language through the both of the two hemisphere. And you notice that is big up top. Why is that? That's called your soft spot. So what happens is that this goes like this, and you think you're in your outer body. But see, it doesn't start from the end. It goes down just like this, boom, and it goes to the middle, and it starts to do a polarity type of movement, going up, go down, and go left and go right. So when it does that, and then it does a diagonal down here. And then when it does that, what they have done is imprisonate you in a cell block, but you don't even know it. That's why y'all talk about freedom and liberty and things like that. That's why poverty and stuff like that is there because they literally stop you from being a circle, literally, and you don't even know it just by words alone. Even here would teach you that it says harmonic guided evolution, the human body in the solar system. You can look for it yourselves. Okay, they've been knowing what they was doing. These are aliens. They know what they're doing. They're demons, whatever you want to call them. Just remember that Ephesians, I think it's 6 and 12. Don't count me on that. But anyway, we get to the brain circuits. There's 8 of them, and I'm gonna tell you why they're different. So the first brain circuit, right? The first one is called the biosurvival system. Just think of fight and flight. Okay, think of flight and fight. You know that's the reptilian brain back there, right? Just think of 8 parts in your brain, and each part has a frequency that goes into the cosmos, okay, or in the cosmos, which is yourself. So it goes in and out, right? It creates your reality. So that's the first one, and that was formed. Listen to this: 2 to 3 million years ago. Actually, Sigmund Freud talked about it. And let me tell you something else about the eight brain circuitry, right? When you think about the Kemetic people and they talk about the 9 E9s, one of them is raw, so they don't count. It's 8 of them. Even when you do Yoruba, right? Obata is the 8th one of the Arushas, right? He's number 8, right? You think about that. My birthday is 8, right? And according to the Ethiopian calendar, that is the year 2012, not 2020. But that's beautiful anyway, because when you add the numbers, it's 5 and 4. 12, 2012, and 2020 is 5. You break it down, pigeon mathematics. And 2020 is 4. 4 is the cube. So if you think that you live in 2020, you are encasing yourself with whatever they think of consciously. You have imprisonated your own self. That's how deep it goes. Basically, you put yourself in jail. That's how deep it goes. Because what they're doing right now, they're trying to consciously insert artificial intelligence into you to put your own self in prison right now so they can use you for eternity. It's called the soul trap. Oh, yeah, it gets deep. It's kind of like the Matrix. What are they doing? You're just a battery, Neil. Remember that? A battery. That's why you're so drained. Why you're drained? Because the way they taught us for everything, when we have sex, believe it or not, you there's no baby there, right? But your energy. So what baby has been born because y'all had a chemical bond, y'all had an electrical bond, y'all had all these bonds, and then guess what? You don't realize this. Your room becomes very hot. Why? Because you open up a portal. And in Zuhara, the mystics of Judaism, the Kabbalists, they know this. A demon comes out of that portal. A very strong, angelic, whatever alien one you pick comes out of that portal. Now, it might not stay with you, or it might stay with you, depending. If you walk around your house and you're drained so much and you participate in the way that they taught us to have sex, believe it or not, you have an alien there. You just can't see them with your eyes because your cat might see them, your dog might see them, but you don't see them because you haven't elevated in your brain circuitry to realize them. And then when you start realizing there's something there, don't your hair follicles stand up? It's a radar. It's like, yo, there's something here, but you can't see it, right? What is that called? Intuition? There's something that you can't see. What would you call that? So these aliens do what is called telepathic insertions into your consciousness, an artificial world. So this world that we see right now is artificial. Obviously, it's a hologram. Obviously, because if you can do anything you want to do, you could be anything you want to be. You pick up YouTube right now, and if you never knew anything about mechanic, you could watch a YouTube thing about being a mechanic. Next thing you know, you're fixing cars. This is like the Matrix. Square up. Think about it. You up there looking at a can, looking at food, and you're looking at nutrients, and you're looking at this have that. You now you ain't a chemist, but technically speaking, you are performing what is called alchemy, but you don't even know it because you never been into the studies of Gnostics, Sufism, or Kabbalism. So you wouldn't even know in all the other secret societies that follow under those three guidelines. You would never know out of those schools of thoughts. There's more schools of thoughts. But out of just those three that I named, that we know of a lot, you would never know. You would not know. So the first brain is survival, and that was 2 to 3 million years ago. You activate after infant stage of being born. That's your tree of knowledge. But guess where you go? You go right into the Kalipoff. So you go right into the world of duality, meaning contending forces of good and bad. You see, that's why they try to say you shouldn't learn knowledge. Oh, you better learn knowledge. You better know legends because you are the knower. How can you not know legends when you are the knower? Who wrote the books? You did. Who wrote the inscriptions on the walls? You did. It wasn't the aliens. Don't let them fool you with it. because you are the original guardians of this planet. You were sent here, of course, to create your parallel universe somewhere else, what is known as heaven and hell, meaning that if you're not on a higher level and you don't go up them levels, the Jacob ladder and all that, and become that Christ conscious or Krishna conscious or Buddha conscious, whichever conscious you want, is the higher one, the self actualization, the self realization. If you don't get to those higher levels, and you create your afterlife, your so called heaven, your so called paradise, your so called bliss, your so called nirvana. If you're not on these higher levels, guess what type of world you create? When you leave this world, you create a world of hell, a world of chaos and order. But you was the one that created the chaotic world that you would go into there and it will appear as if you have order. You see how some people are just happy to be criminals, killing people, doing all types of stuff. They just happy to do it. Why? Because they've been reincarnated. Like this world is like a cow. That's why they tell you about the bull, the sacred scarlet bull. What does a cow do? It regurgitates its food. So they sacrifice children to what is called the molich, right? And it regurgitates the kid's energies. And when it does that, it creates another form for them, like it spits out a demon that is like a human. You might not even know that. Like you look at some people and their eyes will change on you. You know, you remember that joke that they had with President Obama, and they thought he was a demon, and he smelled himself in front of everybody in news. I guess that's not true. How do they know that? Like they're not they're playing games with you because that's they know there's different forms of aliens. You don't know which ones are which. And they're laughing at y'all because they got y'all going in they don't even got y'all going in circles. They got you going in 90-degree angles. And you're supposed to be a circle. You understand that? Just picture a thing that's a circle. How can it circulate? That means somebody controls wherever you go, north, east, west, or south, because you're in a box. And that's what some people feel. Why are you close to me? Why are you boxing me in? That's the term. They put you in a box, right? When we bury, we wasn't in sarcophagus and stuff like that. We bury right in the earth. Why? For the earth, scavengers can eat the body. But you do it in a certain form and protection that nobody will walk past the body and see the body. Some people burn the body, right? So we have certain rituals that once they burn the body, the ashes go right where? Back to the earth, and it does the recycle. Now the second brain circuitry is what is called the emotional terrestrial system. This is like the biocomputer of you. It's like your switchboard, like your switchboard, your brain, pretty much so. And that's the vertebrae. That's like, everything that got vertebrae and stuff like that. So, you got the 21 neuron nerves that go upwards, right? There goes the 21. There goes the 3. Told you everything is 3 and 6 in this world. It's just different numbers. And since they got us to dislike mathematical spirituality, we get lost in the source because they teach us to hate math. Math itself is a spiritual school of thought. Y'all didn't know that. Chemistry, science, and all of that, that's not, those things are spiritual. All of them. Everything you learn is spiritual. Everything you learn is about energy, body, correlation. Everything. So don't let these aliens, these demons fool you, and the rulers tell you. This is why one should never have a ruler. There is a ruler. It's just unseen. Why? Because you are the emulation of the ruler. If you study the tree of life, the Kabbalah, all of those spheres are you. But see, they tell you 10. It's more than 10, it's 13. But they tell you 13 is a bad number. Why is that? Because 1 and 3 equals 4, and it's the 4 worlds. So what they tried to do is keep you at the lower world, keep you at the bio survival world. What are we doing now? Most of us are so busy trying to work as labor force slaves, debt slaves, and all that, knowing daggone well we will always be in debt to these people. Debt? What debt? I ain't signed a contract with them verbally. They do slick stuff. Oh, well, you signed the contract. No, I didn't. You a liar. See? And you gotta call them out and say, I ain't doing nothing. If we was to stop today, this system will fall away. And then you will see these damn things. They will say, I'm not going cloak no more. They won't cloak themselves. They'll be reptilians because you can smell them. When you have a, let me tell you something, y'all. It sounds pretty bad, but when you have a recessive person, they're recessive, genetically altered, right? That means that they were created. They weren't natural. Like we're more naturally created with the harmonic world when they are not. So you can smell them. They smell like reptilians or Anunnaki smell, Palladiums. Probably Palladiums are the only ones that kind of not smell. They jelly like looking. Those are the ones that our natives thought that they were the illuminated ones. Which we call illuminated, those are the ones from the Sirian star. They glow. The 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 Zeta Grays definitely stink. The Insectos, you know they stink. Okay? The Gracie Grays, yeah. The damn little cockroaches one, yeah, they stink too. That's the ones like you saw in what's the movie? Men in Black. You remember the comedy movie with Will Smith? Look like cockroaches? That's them. And the Archicatarians. Same thing. And then you have the Serpentines, which is not up there. They don't talk about them because they rule. That's the Lucifer. That's Lucifer and his bunch, the fallen angels, the 1/3. And if you think about it, 1/3 equals 33. So just think about that. Who talks about 33? They're the fallen angels. You know the fallen angels did, right? They are the sons of gods in the Bible. You know who they are? They the serpentines. So they taught us sex, right? You know why they taught us sex? To entrap us for a long time. First, it started with black people. Black people enslaving black people. Then they created the Caucasians, the Caucasoids. The Caucasoids were created. They was created just like Charles Darwin said, evolved from primates. So what they did, the aliens, they took a Homo erectus, right, and interbreed them with a black woman, which known as the daughters of Earth. And when they created those two, that created what you see today now of the Caucasoids called the Homo sapiens. Why are they called Homo sapiens? Sapiens, because they call them the wise ones. They have a problem of breaking down oxygen, hemoglobin, right? So they eat a lot of blood. So what type of alien being would they be? Now, that doesn't mean that any of these might not like being who they are. So they might help you just to make somebody else mad. You know how you got the black sheep family. You know how you got somebody like a perfect person is Sagadi. Sahadi. When he left Hindu and he taught Buddhism, right? Perfect example. Perfect example. Another perfect example with that, and you notice most of them are in caves, right? Why they in caves and they get this knowledge talking about they see something. What else in caves, right? So then you have so in the second emotion, you also are competing for territory. You have a trust and suspicious fight. So this is where they try to keep us at. That's why we have walls and stuff like that. It actually you have to get to a very high level of your brain circuits working, your neurons snapping. The the third one is what they call time bonding, your somatic system. Okay, this is where the primates, which they try to call us, right, starts to differentiate the third circuit brain, meaning you're starting to use your brain power, right? So sometimes they want that because they want to make you educated enough so you can mine and you can do the different things that they want you to do. The fourth one is called social sexual system. Now, the reason why they love this, now you notice that's 13. That's 1 to 3 equals 4. There goes your cube, there goes your cross, there goes your death, right? Now, social sexual system, right? You notice that. Okay, so this is about the tribalism and stuff like that, right? So, what are they doing to us right now? Social isolation. Why? Because the next move they're moving on is sexual. So by social isolation, they figuring that people will have less sex because they got more stress. So they're not producing babies. So therefore they could start to create their agenda called design babies. Meaning you'll go to a laboratory and there be a pod, a wound, an artificial wound, and you could pick what type of baby you want. You remember the Russian guy that says, "I will pay millions of dollars if Serena and what's our brother basketball player James have sex and have a baby. He will each give them millions of dollars." Some people thought that was tabloids. Mm-mm. They've been doing stuff like that for a long time to create what is called unique babies. Willie Lynch letter, taking drops of different bloods. So they've been experimenting, creating hybrids for a long time. Okay, so that right there is more uh, with the future of babies now, and that's working on the time, how they got us with time, and they got us with time because they do what is called the 24-hour clock. The reason why they have 24 hours in a day, right, in a whole time frame, is because they're talking about your central nervous system double. It's 12 and 12 central nervous system. So that equals 24. In First Kings, it's talk about the 24 elders. And in the middle is the throne, God's throne, right? It's the seat, it's the throne. That's called the pine cone, and you call it the pineal gland. Okay, so right there, what they do is entrap us with time. There is no such thing as time and space. It really doesn't exist, especially with us because we cosmetic beings. Time doesn't exist. That's why when you heard about it, people live a long time. People are still living a long time now, but they don't want you to know that. You see, because they're trying to entrap you in an 8 cube thing and then use your energy for eternity. Two things, three, few things they do. They can consume you and try to eat your energy that way. They can entrap you and use your energy like a battery somewhere, like how they did her name was Venus. They had a booty in a pickle jar. You don't think they was taking their booty cells and injecting that into them so they can have a fat booty? Because it's something about shapes, geometrical, scarlet geometrical shapes, right? It does something. It creates some types of hormones and things like that, right? Now, the same thing they did with Heretta Lacks. Everybody knows she's the immortal cell. They kept her vagina cells and they are still practicing and using her cells to this very day, but she passed away a very long time ago. So you see the illusions of death. She, quote unquote, is physically not here. Her cells are still here and still living to this very day, and it's 2020. See what I'm saying? There's an illusion. Now, the reason why it's illusion, because they're working on your fourth dimension. They trapping your energy, you see, and using the the which I call the influence. The fifth one, and this is where it starts to get good. Now we only got three left, so I better hurry up, right? You have something called the neurosomatic system, right? The neurosomatic system. They call this the body rapture. Now you heard there's the awakening, and then there's going to be the rapture, and it's five. Think about that. What else is five? A pentagram. 5G. Oh, 5G. Now think about it. If I told you right now the body rapture and the neurosomatic system is number five in your brain circuitry, that means you're consciously elevating, right? And they come out with these antenna band waves, energy, with your energy can influence your energy, right? So they're lying about the true technology of this because this is the alien agenda. It's to crack your body so they could jump in it because they know they're about to end. So they're trying to hide in many places, right? So that's number five. Now check this out. You got 5G. G is the letter, it's the seventh letter of the alphabet, right? When you add 5 plus 7, you equal what? 12. What are 12 months? 12 zodiac houses. So what are they saying right here? Your your neurosomatic system, which is your 12 zodiac houses, which is your 12 cranium nerve systems. Hello? Is anybody home? Right? Is anybody home? Hello? Times three is your 36 chambers of death. Hello? Talk to me. Okay? So that is your body brain. Okay? Now, this one is where it starts getting really great. It's really great, y'all. It's called the neuro electrical system. This number five will, if you up consciously, if you at number five, you can lose people. You start losing friends because as you become more spiritually adapt and your knowledge of self, the people that you have start disappearing. You know why? Because they only exist because of your existence. Oof. Let me not say that. That might be too hard for you to understand. Like everything has a shelf life, right? Once that energy with keep this, that shelf life um at that rate, right, of survivability. Once it's over, it's over. It's done. So when you reach conscious levels, your friends and everything that you once had, they disappear. And the reason why they disappear, and you don't even think about them, the higher you go up, the less they are. Like you don't consciously, they're not there. The reason for that, because they are vibrating on a low level. If you up there and you up there in the highest level of the chakras, let's say seven chakras, right? You up there in the seven chakra, you have nothing of You have nothing to do with your first chakra, even though you're still interconnected. But your first chakra, I mean your first chakra, your lower chakra, your root chakra. I shouldn't say your first chakra, but vice versa, right? You have nothing to do with your root chakra. This is why when you truly be enlightened, they don't have sex because you have sex. You don't have to have sex. Sex is in the mind. That's what y'all don't understand. As a man thinketh, so shall it be. That means every thought you created in reality. That's why it's called, what is the air called? Atom spheres. Atom spheres. You create what is called alchemy by your electrical magnetic force in you. And you start to conjure in everything that you want. You see? Now, that's when you get up there with that neuron electrical synapse. That's working on your nerves, you being more aware of self, you imprinting, you know how to get out of what is called gravitational reality. Think about that. You only think you touch things and stuff like that because of gravity. If there was no gravity, you'd be flying all over the places. Your atoms, your cells, they wouldn't even form together because there's no gravity. So when you have asteroids and things like that, they coming from other dimensions. The things you see is not what you see. They're the optical illusion that you have created. Just look at the planets, right? You could take an old history book and look at, they said this is what the earth looks like. How you saw the earth, right? They took a spaceship and they said they went to the moon, but they have never went to the bottom of the deepest ocean yet with all this high technology. So how they gonna go to the moon? How they gonna go out to space and then come back again? Because outer space is like huge water, like deep, deep water. They lying to you. These are what the aliens do. It's called artificial insertion. See, you got bamboozled. That's the true word, bamboozle, right? So now once you out of there, once you at the sixth level, your neuron electric, you know what's happening? You almost at the level you're talking to your DNA and RNA. That means you can alter your body anytime you want to. Anything in the world, you could just start to manifest it, change it. Serious, dead serious. A thought. You remember, like in the movie Neo, he says, "Oh, once you become the one and know you the one, you won't have to dodge bullets." That's the same saying that they say in the Helios Biblos, known as the Sun Book or the Babel, right? Known as the Golden Ratio. That's what the Bible is. The Bible is the sun. The Bible is the golden sun ratio. That's why it's 66 books. See, but it's alien technology, but they use our technology because we was here before the aliens. Hmm. So they use 33, right, which is the one third, the fallen angels, the Anunnakis, or whatever you want to call them, because everybody's talking about the Anunnakis are here, right? So the Anunnakis could be the Serpentins, right? So it only be eight of them, right? Eight kings, right? The eight demon kings, right? So that's 33. And then the Bible is 6 6. So you have 33 vertebrates, right? We go back to vertebrates, emotions, energies, emotions. So they have put you in 7 grid lockdown. Before you can even get out of this, so they have you locked down, have us locked down in 10 grids, 10 chakras. So as you bust through the one, you think you're good. Okay, boom. You bust through two, three, four, five. That's they try to tell you you can't go to the higher levels, right? Past 7 chakras. I'm telling you, it's 114 chakras. It's down and up, way up, right? Now, You're busting through these seven chakras that they created, like the seven continents. It's not seven continents. They lying to you again. The best it is 4 to 5. Best tops 4 to 5. And look at that again. 2012 and 2020. You got the 4 and 5 again. So what's up with that 4 and 5? Are they doing something on the 45th parallel line or segments that they talk about of this earth, which means that's the number 9. So that means straight in the middle or the beginning or the ending of something, right? Just think about that. And guess who else is 45? Donald Trump, the Trump card. He's the 45th president, right? He's the 45th president. He's building a wall. Think about that. That's all spiritual. Think about this. If you're a circle and they building a wall, what's happening to you? What are they saying? They cementing your thoughts. So soon you will be robotic. You don't even know that. You got a cell phone. It's a wall. Why? Because it's really blocking you from really expanding who you are. Like you feel that device in you is one. It's inanimated. It's artificial. How can that device be you when you're natural and you're cosmetic? You're a cosmetic being. So how can that inanimated thing be so important? They made it that way because they want to keep you at the low chakras. They always want to rule over us, right? Now, after you get to that sixth chakra, there's something called meta programming. When you study metaphysics, you go into this dimension. You go into this dimension. Now, when you go into that dimension there, also when you are there from 1 to 5, guess what happens? Nobody understands you. Once you become neural electrical, nobody. I mean, they would call you crazy. This is where Nikola Tesla and all those great scientists, this is the level of brain circuits they working on. The sixth circuit. You remember the sixth element? They're there. You only got 2 left, y'all. The seventh one, you remember God rested on the seventh day. So check this out. If you think about it, on the sixth one is the neural electrical. We was created on the 6th day. So they letting us already know how powerful we are, but they dumbed us down in what is called education, binding back to something, right? What are they binding us back? Slavery. To slave us to mine for their goals to fix the Anunnaki planet called Nibiria. And all of these reptilians, they are all here on this planet. They are fighting for us, meaning the winner gets the spoils. You understand that? You are totally different than these beings. You actually stronger than all of them. But they have made you so dumb that the best thing they do to us, so we don't know our strength, because when we come together and we think positive, you don't even know. You can't just think of all the great things that was ever built. We had telekinesis. We could walk, we could literally walk on water. Telling you, we could levitate, all of that. That's the higher levels. They call it extrasensory perception. Why? Because they dummy us down. And you know you have extrasensory perception. You don't even know you do it. You know how you home or you at some place, right? And you're thinking of a friend, right? A particular person. Let's say that. You're thinking of a particular person in your mind, right? What you're doing is neural, you're having neural electrical synapses going, right? There's no more gravitational pulling your thoughts, okay? You get to what is called neurogenetic System, that means your neurons are communicating with your DNA and your RNA, right? So you at this conscious level, you very high. You don't know it because we go in and out real quick because how they created these blockage and pathways, how they block our pathways. And those who know me know I get a natal charter of Kabbalah, the tree of life, and I can show you everything about your pathways. Um, um, so this is what they do there. So they block these pathways. So you don't know. You can't come out. The neurogenetic part, just think about that. That's electrical. And you know what Dr. Sabi says about electrical foods, right? Think about it. L, 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 because that's the first one, right? Etric, etric. Think about that. Word, break them words down. Think about them, right? This is with the DNA, and this is basically the memories of the past here. Reincarnation. So check this out. This level here means that when it's written in the Helios Biblos, the Sun Book, remember I call it Sun Book because 66 books, right? Think about that, right? It's plus a six because it's always black most of the time. So there you go. That's carbon B. Memories of the past here. What that means is that when that book was talking about the creator knew you before you were born. Like you and the creator, the source, knew each other before you were born. That means you knew the source because you're the emulation of the source. You know your past. Like you know where you came from before you came. So they're doing science now to crack that. They study a lot of babies, a lot of children. That's why they do what they do, right? Y'all know, kidnapped and all that stuff. Y'all know, and there's more and more now. Why? Because certain people having less babies. Who are those people? Those are the people they created. So what are they doing? They doing the um they doing the get out. They are jumping into black bodies. See, this is why all of this is happening. Like all those black bodies that died in this so-called voodoo death of emotions and electrical neuron feelings. Because when you are afraid, you know how much hormones you could shoot a certain amount of hormone into your heart, sudden death. You would die right then and there, like pop, dead. Dead ass serious. It'd be a thought and you just blink out. Pop. I remember I was in the IRS, right? I was going for my taxes, right? The very first person I remember, I say, "Hey, how you doing?" I was saying hello to everybody, even though I was getting audited, right? This IRS, right? This is another alien agenda with that crap, right? Because no human should be paying taxes. This bull crap, right? Now we like to play the games. As long as we play their games, they're going to continue doing what they're doing because it's prophecies. And these prophecies are actually good for us because they are cosmo laws. These laws that they have talking about, oh, these police and blue and all these different spectrum colors is all bullcrap. Y'all have to realize that and accept it. The only reason why y'all don't accept it because of fear, false evidence appearing real. Remember, you and the hologram created by aliens. That's why when you read about a character per se, that character name was Jesus, and you read about a person named Lucifer, took him up to the pinnacle of the church and says, I will give you everything if you just bow down to me. That means the world. And the world, when you put the lamb out of it, the L is word, it's logos. So you speak this things that you see into existence. How? You ever seen you speak a girl to existence, you speak a man to existence. You look at them and say, I like him. I want him. See, people that study voodoo, they actually, or Yoruba, whatever you want to call it, they know exactly what I'm talking about. They know exactly. They know I'm not, and be honest, paranormal science, all of that, they know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have a certain vibration, do you know that sounds can move sand and make designs? So if sounds can move sand and make designs, what you think is happening? You could program atoms. Okay, okay. So in the seventh brain circuit, right? There's and this neurogenetic, meaning your neurons are speaking to your DNA and RNA at will. They, you don't need no drugs, no nothing to go talk to your ancestors like in the Black Panther. You just jump in at will, right? This is where you get those out of body experience and stuff like that, that astral projection. Don't even know it, right? Because at 6, you don't even know what's going on, right? But this one, you will get memories of the past. That's what we call dreaming, a dream state. But see, dream state, you have to be careful about dream because dream, I brung it down, is really digital and just fill in the rest. Last time I said it, I got in trouble. I can't say that. So just think, dream, the first part of it is digital, D, REM. Think about it. They are projecting a digital reality. Like when you go and sleep, they sing the frequencies. You hear that buzz and all types of noise. Yeah, that's it. That's that. Here in this world, this is where you get in touch with your Ashcott records. If you never heard of that, look that up. And that's where your collective unconscious is at. Like of what Carl Jung talks about, the collective unconsciousness. Like I tell people, I'm unconsciousness. I'm unconscious. I'm not conscious. They said, what? I said, do you know the word conscious means? And I got it up there as a title. Let me let you know what conscious means. And it's perfect for the title, to be honest. Con, shun, is 2 words. Con, C-O-N, means fake. And shun means having knowledge, having a knowledge, having a knowledge. Okay. Now this goes into like I said, near birth death and stuff like that, right? Circuitries. Oh, and by the way, you ever heard of people talk about the the light, the white tunnel, the light tunnel when they dying, talking about this lighted tunnel is lit? That's a alien trap. It's a soul trap. Don't go that way. It's a soul trap. Don't go that way. And this deals with time warp. And this deal with a drug like LSD. When you go to the 7 LSD, probably Heluca. Heluca probably up in there too. In fact, Heluca, yeah, Heluca is up there, right there, seventh. If you wanna see what the seventh brain circuit is, take Heluca or LSD. I'd rather take Heluca than LSD, right? But it's going to get you there. You go look. You in fact, when you go in that stage, you're going to see them. You you will see them. Like like I'm looking at y'all right now. You will see them. Serious, really serious, because I got astro project and I see them like with my own eyes, right? The number 8, which is the last one, y'all. This here is a great space coaster. Get on board. You're going through quantum dimensions. You heard me? Quantum dimensions. This is called the neuron atomic consciousness, or we could say unconsciousness now, right? The neuron atomical consciousness of infra, spira, metaphysiological quantum model of consciousness. This means you are in the state of the all in all. I don't know how you could do that. I do know, if you want to be honest. That means that you recognize the source and you're right next to the source. You the you the emblem, like how people talk about Jesus Christ, you become the source. Yes, that's what that is. You get there, you don't want to go nowhere. You don't want to come back to earth. No, no. I'm all right, creator, source, whatever name you give it. I'm good. I don't want to go nowhere. You would not want to go nowhere. When you get to the 6, 7, look at, and I'm gonna let y'all know something. Y'all birthdays have a lot to do with your brain circuits, because your birthdays, you the way you born, like they teach you that bullshit with the circle and all of that stuff. I could cut that short. I could tell you stuff just by your birthday. And then if I want to do your name with neurology and geometria and all of that, done deal. We don't have to go through all of that stuff. All that stuff right there, they're just charging people right now. And technically speaking, you're not supposed to charge for spirituality, technically speaking. But because people live in this world and they feel they entrapped, because they do trap us very well. Not all. Let me tell you something. Many are called, but only a few are chosen. And the chosen ones are with me, probably looking at me right now. Many are called. You know how many people I call? I call my family. I call my friends. I call my co-workers. You know why I told my co-workers and my friends, we need to come together. I was begging. It's on Facebook. Like Facebook will say, "Yep, here he is." And you know how Facebook will do me? I can see me like they're like, "Oh, Lambert, we need to talk to you." Okay, no problem. What's going on? What's popping? I'll be in the gray dome, right? The gray dome, right? For the damn Zetas, right? They talking to me. Lambert, listen. You're trying to awaken people to get out of this matrix. Please, let's talk a deal. They will show me everything I did in my life. They working on that program right now. That's why you have, like, when you go to stores, everything is what you call nanotechnology. They know what clothes you bought, the garbage. Everything gonna have a nanotechnology identity. So they gonna know everything about you, like an enemy of the state, Neo and the Matrix. All of these movies are not just movies. They are what is called in psychology predictive programming. Let me say that to y'all again. In psychology, it is called predictive programming. What they're doing is that they are programming, they are actually downloading their hardware into your drive. Whatever brain part that that is a drive, they are downloading what is called alien assertion into your brain. Okay? That is what they're doing. So, people, I thank you very much. I thank you for watching my little thing. And it's just about this, right? So it's just about the brain waves, right? These little people, these people, okay? So I think y'all, I don't want to show y'all all of this all the time, but let me see if I can show you without flipping it. So it's these people that we've been talking about. All right. You see this one here, an Anunnaki. He looked like a dread and glowing. So this is what they're doing here. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Okay, first of all, an Anunnaki doesn't come from Syria. An Anunnaki comes from Nigeria. All right, Nigeria, Nigeria, right? That's him. This is why they want you to wear dreads because the Anunnakis, that's Ili and Ifi. So this is, let me tell y'all what they're doing. They're so intelligent about this. You notice that somebody made this look like a black man with glowing eyes. And look at these pictures. You get killing me. This looked like the girl from Games of Thrones, the dragon woman. You see, so what are they doing? They're programming you to think of all these different beings. Now, they could exist, but they might not look like that. See, that's predictive programming, right? And we'll probably see these beings, right? Because this is what they're doing. They're making them look like this, and they might look like that. To be honest, they might look like that. But the ones that you think, which are the Anunnakis, which you think are the you think they're dreads, right? Dreadlocks. Let me explain something to y'all about the Anunnakis. They are predators. They're like the Predator, like the movie The Predator. They're like in Star Trek. They will be the Klingons, right? And they'll show you these, but they won't tell you. Let me explain something to y'all real quick before y'all leave. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. Are they talking about these beings? They're not talking about them. Okay, you know why? Because Anunnaki and these beings are not the same. And these people here, okay, these people here, look at their skin. That's where they black. They black. Straight up black. All right. Ain't no doubt about it. These are the nomads. These are, if anything, closer to helping us. It's coming from this particular system, if anything. If it's not the Anunnakis, mm-mm, don't believe the hype. If it's not this, if it's not these, trust me. Because you know why I say that? I studied the Quran, right, for a long time. And I learned the Quran in Saudi Arabia. And Surah 53, 49, what is called the Al Najm, which means the stars, the constellation. They say, it says, even I am the Lord of the mighty Sirius star, right here. This in the Quran, it says the creator of the Quran is the Lord over this star. That means there are beings here. When you hear, see, they pop in my ear. They pop in my ear. Oh shit, they pop in it. They're popping it. When they popping it, see, because they don't want y'all to know the truth. They trying to hit me with a thing to create. Oh, there we go. Ah, get out of here, sucker. To create what is called brain aneurysm, like they did to Amos Wilson, Khalid Muhammad, and um, what's his name? If the glove Johnny Cochran, if the glove fit, you must have quit. All three of them have brain aneurysm. Why? Because they shoot what is called electro pulse into your brain, and it does like a, and you have a brain aneurysm. So, with that said, fam, I thank you for listening to me. Um, be aware of telepathic communication things that's talking to you because they have that technology. That's what 5G is all about. 5G can talk directly in your brain. Directly. It's like when you have them earplugs, them wire plugs, that stuff goes through your bone. It resonates through your bone, not your ears. You think you ear, it doesn't do that. It goes through your bone. Why? Because they're trying to change the whole dynamics of this up here. So they can have a heaven and war. They already having the brain fight the heart. The heart is truly the first brain when you study embryology. Until then, thank you, fam. Y'all have a blessed day. Do know that these alien agenda, how to influence your eight brain circuitry, is serious. Okay? The 24 stages of your neurological evolution is serious. And the next time, what I want y'all to do is remember the aliens, right? The reptilians, the Anunnakis, and all these beings, right? Remember them and ask yourself a question. Which brain circuit do you think these aliens work on? Okay? Ask yourself which brain circuit does a reptilian, an Anunnaki, a Palladium, a Zeta, a Ensor, a Greasy, uh, they're going cockroach, that's what I call them, and the Arcturo. Remember, which one do you think? I think the Anunnakis must be a part of the Circuit 8. That's my belief. I think they are with the Circuit 8. And the reason for that is because, and this is my end to y'all, the reason for that is because they always use blacks. Blacks, we're not thinking of, because we were already enslaved by our own. They did some smart stuff, and I'll talk about that in another level. It's called I'll talk about that in another level. So the reason for that is that black people are the most powerful beings on this earth, right? And they want y'all to have dreadlocks, right? Because the Anunnakis and you can have a bond. So everybody's talking about the Anunnaki, even the Caucasian. So obviously there's some, and the Anunnakis, when you study that, that's that Sumerian and section and all of them, and actually all of these names actually come from the Royal Society in Europe. So you have to be very cautious in names again, because they use us as rituals, because we're the highest form of communication, because we have melanin, which is a superconductor, and it conducts with the space automatically. Like as soon as your thoughts is gone. Boom, bam. It's bam, like that, right? So when you have hair, as y'all say, dreads, which catches the cosmos and it also gives out the cosmos, the Anunnakis are going to come to you first. And if you're not vibrating, you notice, like you saw the movie Predator, right? They were dreadlocks, right? But they was damn those shits, right? And they would cut your head off and all of that. And they can do almost like aliens. The aliens are the reptilians that eat you and they look like you. Be careful in all of this talk, because at the end of the day, that's still the Goliath. Everything they do, like they talk about 10,000, 12,000, 3,000 years ago, right? And you're thinking, how can this person know what happened 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago? And you ask them scientists, You ask them, tell me what happened when you was 3 months old. They could not tell you. Dead ass. They can't tell you what happened before you was born because they know you energy. So what happened? You see what I'm saying? Like that's as simple as you go. That's why the creator says, don't worry about nothing that passed you away. Just keep about the now. Worry about the now. Each and every day, take each step. That's it, y'all. Don't worry about nothing else. Whatever's going on. If you know you need to come together, come together. Come on to our website. Join us called the Ancient Templates. Okay, look it up. It's called the Ancient Templates of the Elders. I'll see y'all later. Take care. Peace out. Thank you very much. It's been a little bit. Let's see. Yeah.